The following is a presentation of the Mat Talk Podcast Network.
Kick off the 2020 NCAAs on Wednesday, March 18th at the Barn at Cowboy Jackson, downtown Minneapolis. Presented by J-Rob Intensive Camps and Track Wrestling, the 7-7 pregame party will feature 7 high-profile guests with connections to the wrestling community, including business people, entertainers, athletes, and coaches. Dan Gable, 1972 Olympic gold medalist, 2-time NCAA champion, and 15-time national champion head coach, is the first booked guest. The full lineup of featured guests will be revealed via J-Rob Intensive Camps and Track Wrestling social media in the coming weeks. Event proceeds will be donated to Take Down Cancer, an initiative of the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. Shane Sparks of Track Wrestling and the Big Ten Network will serve as the event MC. Sparks will interview each of the 7 guests for 7 minutes, the length of the collegiate wrestling match mirroring the format of Track Wrestling's popular 7 Minutes Q&A series. Come celebrate the sport of wrestling with friends while supporting a great cause. Tickets purchased online include a complimentary drink for those 21 and up. Ticket quantities are limited, so reserve your space now for this exciting kickoff party. And for more information, go to 7in7party.com and get your tickets today.
Top-ranked 184-pounder in the country, Zahid Valencia. Big year for you going into trying to win your 3rd national title. There's an Olympic trials coming up in April. And overall, as we sit here before this duel with Little Rock, what are your general impressions of how your performance has been up a weight this year and with NCAA goals in mind, but also, Olympic goals in mind?
For me, I'm just trying to have as much fun as I could. With it being my last year of folkstyle, and then mixing both freestyle and folkstyle this season, it's been a lot of fun. I'm excited for the team too. I'm looking to finish off my career with a team championship, hopefully. So, starting this postseason, I'm just excited to see what's next, and then, going from national straight to the Olympic trials is going to be fun.
How's your body been holding up through the grind of that, and knowing that that's coming up?
For me, it's been fun, and I think for me it was better not taking that Olympic redshirt year just because I'm used to the college grind, going throughout the whole year. It keeps me in shape, it keeps me focused. So for me, it's been fun, and my weight, I've been trying to get my weight up, but it's been fine for the most part. I usually stay around 184, 182. I've weighed in a couple of duels at 180, 181. So, but it's been fine, being able to keep my conditioning to be able to wear those bigger guys out, so that way I don't feel their strength as much. But everything's been good. My body feels great going to this postseason.
I'm going to go back in time, coming out of high school, 2015. Of course, your brother a year ahead of you. Now you're in the same eligibility class at Arizona State, but when Zeke got the job and you guys were part of that first recruiting class, this was kind of one of the years that everybody was circling. Okay, everybody's going to be seniors. This is going to be making a run at a trophy. What has it been like to go through this process and kind of rebuilding Arizona State wrestling with Zeke and Shooter, Lee Pritz, as part of the coaching staff there?
It's been great. It hasn't been, there's been ups and downs throughout the whole 4 or 5 years I've been here, but we're here now, my last year, and this is what we've been hoping for, top 5 team. We took out Penn State in the duel, just had that one duel loss against Ohio State, which could have gone either way. It was a close one. I'm just excited to see what our team's made of. They've been putting in the work. They've been training hard, so national is going to be fun. Just gotta keep the gas pedal down, and just perform like we know we can at nationals.
Going back to Penn State, that snapped their 60-match dual win streak. You didn't actually get to wrestle. What was that? Kind of a letdown for you there?
Yeah, it was great to be out there and see the crowd. A huge crowd, and then everyone rushing the mat.
They stormed the mat. I've never seen that. I mean, how many team points did you guys get deducted for that? Because they're deducting team points left and right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I knew that was the last match, and, that was a scary match too. Tanner getting put on his back, but, he fought through. He almost came back with the win, actually. But, seeing that kind of passion that we brought in, and, the crowd could feel it. They know that we want to do something special down at Arizona State. But it's just one match, one duel. So I was bummed, but at the same time, I was happy for our team, not being able to wrestle. But what matters most is nationals. So that's what we got to keep our eye on.
How much do you pay attention to the entire college scene in terms of what's going on in the Big Ten, what's going on in the ACC? Because there have been some monster duels this year.
Yeah.
You guys have been a part of a couple of them, but when Friday night and Sunday afternoons coming up, there's Big Ten matches on. How much are you paying attention to wrestling around the country?
Well, we're wrestling and traveling, not too much. I mean, I look on what Flo's posting, what my coach is telling me. Obviously, I look at the big matchup, big duels. The ranked 1-2 guys. But besides that, haven't been too focused on it, especially because this year being in freestyle, so sometimes I lose sight of some of these college matches, these college wrestlers that's going on. But, I'm just trying to enjoy it and make sure that I soak in every part of this journey, outside of just ASU, but really enjoy what wrestling has given me throughout this 5 years in college.
Again, going back in time, your recruiting process, you were one of the top probably 2 or 3 recruits in the country out of that graduating class, if not number 1. And you look at the other options that you had, and you talk about relaxing and enjoying. You go to Tempe, it's kind of hard to realize every other place is cold pretty much in the wintertime. When you look back at the decisions outside of wrestling and going to Arizona State, where have you benefited most from that?
I mean, for sure, it's a different lifestyle than, being at Iowa or Penn State, having that cold weather. For me, it was just awesome, sticking to the same conditions that I'm pretty much used to, being from California, living that type of lifestyle. I mean, I just fell in love with it. I took one trip, and that was to ASU, and after that, I told my dad, even my brothers, I love this place. I love what Zeke has to offer, what, the city, everything that you could do outside of just wrestling, the people there, the culture, everything just fit perfectly into what I wanted to do. So, I mean, for me, it was a pretty easy transition.
A lot of people are looking at your freshman year, of course, the semifinals. How much does that eat at you at all, or is that something that's just in your rear view?
Yeah, I mean, I put that behind me, after that freshman year, going undefeated, being number 1. They pulled Mark's red shirt. I was excited to wrestle. A lot of talk around that, and I take that loss. But, I think after that day, I already put it behind me. It happens. I'm just that's kind of my mindset. The sun's still coming up tomorrow. Like that one match isn't going to define me. Came back the next day at nationals and, took third, destroyed, my next 2 guys, Miles and me. I had to wrestle him for 3rd and 4th. So being 15-4. So I think since that loss, I've wrestled better. And I think I kept it somewhat for that next year because I wanted to win nationals so bad. So I kept that in mind. But after winning nationals my sophomore year, I kind of just put it behind me. It's okay, that was good for me. I'll still remember the loss, but I don't eat at it. It doesn't eat at me anymore.
Yeah. What about the other times you guys have wrestled?
I mean, it's been fun every time, that's for sure. It's always,
this goes back years. I mean, granted, you guys have, kind of grown at different rates, but you guys had wrestled each other quite a bit growing up.
Yeah. I mean, going into that match in college, my first time wrestling him in college, I think I was 8-0 against him as kids, wrestling in Tulsa Nationals, these little youth wrestling tournaments, and he's always been a stud, but I've always been able to edge him out. So especially having that first loss sucked, but I knew he was a great wrestler, great defense. He's a good tactician. So going out there, I have to be smart, finishing my shots and stuff. But I mean, it's fun being able to compete. I mean, that's why I wrestle, being able to show everyone my strengths, my talents, and what it takes to win out there.
What's it take for you to get into a higher gear? Because, you've taken a couple losses in your career, and when it comes March, since your sophomore year, I mean, it's just been bonus points, guns blazing. It's like you do shift into a higher gear. What's the mindset behind that?
Yeah, I mean, something about nationals, just zeroing in into what I need. Sometimes, in smaller matchups, I could go in lackadaisical, and that's something that actually Pendleton has helped me with a lot. He's been tremendous about that. He'll see me against, a smaller school, and I'm out there, and I'm just sitting down knowing, okay, I'm going to go out there and pin this guy. And he makes sure to grab me and pulls me to the side. Hey, like, you got to warm up every match like it's the finals. So that's something that I've been installing in my routine, making sure that you have routine for every match. So the more I do it throughout the year, I'm going to have it set perfect by the time nationals comes. So, I mean, the way I wake up in the morning, the things I eat, how many matches I'm going to warm up before, my match. So things like that has helped me. Pendleton's helped me figure out and what I like and what I don't like. So, I mean, by the end of the year, I'm just focused and want to perform, especially in a big crowd like that. Like, who wants to lose in front of thousands of people, live on ESPN and stuff. So having that, it's not pressure, but that excitement, it gets me going, it gets me pumped up, and it's just a lot of fun.
And talking about Pendleton, he came in a couple years ago, right as you were getting there as well, and he's a guy that's known how to win. He's won a couple titles. He's been there. What have you learned besides maybe the warm-up situation from him? And one, does he still got it?
Yeah, I mean, he still got it for sure. I mean, he rolls around. He's been picking it back up, on his training, so that way he could be able to roll with me. And for me, it's helped me a lot. It's been tremendous. But his technique and his style and my style just fit perfectly. I'm so happy I was blessed to have him as one of the coaching staff at ASU, because, I mean, just the way he flows, the way he attacks, I see a lot of him in myself. So just having him in my corner and show me the ropes.
And him also being a native Californian, how much do you remember him when you were growing up, when he was wrestling at Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I remember my dad talking about him. I mean, I remember watching a couple matches, but mostly just my dad and what he's talked about him, watching him in high school, because we used to go to the state tournament every year for 10 years in a row when we were younger. So I knew he was good. And then seeing him at Oklahoma State, and then coming to ASU and being my coach, I mean, everything just worked out perfectly, and it's been so fun with him, as a coach, as a person, as a human being, to have him by my side.
You talked about your dad and him talking about Pendleton, but your dad's also been a pretty prominent figure in your wrestling growth with you and your brother, and of course there's another one coming. But what was it like growing up and hitting these Tulsa events and with you and Anthony, basically? There's the Valencias from California, they're going to wreck people. I mean, what's it like to, one, go through this process in college with your brother, and two, having your dad be able to take you guys places and put you in training situations that have you contending for national championships and national honors?
I mean, for me, it's been so much fun, especially looking back. I don't think we ever missed Tulsa, Reno, growing up. And he made sure that early on that he had to get me and my brother good. Because losing sucks. So he's like, these guys have to start winning, and then they're going to love it. And, I mean, we did. And going out there and then building Monster Garage and getting kids like us that are just tough, that want to win, and growing that Monster Garage name. And then setting records, winning titles, not just me and my brother, but, Pico, Cato Levis, guys like that. It was a lot of fun. And then he made sure as soon as we started getting older, I'd go to Tulsa and I'd go up a division, 2 divisions, a weight class, sometimes 2, just so my dad, he wouldn't tell me and my brother, but my dad was looking for us to lose. We had to learn how to lose and how much it sucked in order for us to be ready for that next level.
There's a humbleness and a humility to a loss.
Yeah, to a loss. And how you bounce back and how you get back to the room and work hard and remember that loss and how much it sucked.
What was the first loss you remember really stinging growing up?
I mean, I don't remember much of the.
Well, there's not that many to choose from, obviously.
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much of the youth ones, but the one that hurts is sophomore year in state, losing that semis. Sitting out and trying to go out 2-4 high school, California high school state championship.
Who's that to again?
Sean Lewis from Lemoore. So Pendleton's old high school. So, and especially because I beat him throughout the year, I think I teched him and I pinned him throughout the year. I'd say
that's got to sting a little bit.
Yeah, and he wrestles a great match. I think I lose 3-2, and it was just devastating. But I was able to bounce back pretty good. Bumping up weights too.
You make the commitment after your junior year, or in your junior year, and that summer I'm talking to Zeke, and he goes, "Take a look at this picture of Zahid." And you were gigantic.
Yeah.
I mean, you wrestled 182 your senior. You didn't gain 50 pounds, but you gained essentially 50 pounds. What was it? What happened? I mean, what was that growth spurt like for you?
Well, I really hit my growth spurt more my junior year. So I went 6s, 13s, but I was cutting from like 135 to go 113. So, I was a big cutter. Then 132s, I was cutting from like 55, 60. Like I got up from 260, but I try to maintain my weight at 45, 50, but I got up to 55 sometimes, so that sucked. And then after my junior year, I hit another 15-pound growth spurt, so I was like 175.
No more of that cutting. So.
175, and then we had that talk where my brother was wrestling 170s. I was 175, and I remember going into it, I told Anthony, I told my dad, I'm going 70s. And Anthony said, I'm going 70s. So we sat down and talked, and Dad's like, well, we're going to do this fair. You guys are going to have to wrestle off. Like, I'm not going to choose one for you and then one hate me the next time.
Had you ever had to do that before?
No, never. So.
Had y'all ever met in tournaments before, or were you guys?
Yeah, when we were younger, we used to go back and forth when we were like 5, 6 years old. But.
Nothing as you guys were serious into.
No. But. That summer, we started wrestling more, talking about it more, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to cut. And I looked at the 82-pound weight class. I said, I could win, And then people started talking about me and Miles Martin that senior year. So I wanted to show everyone, like, I could win going up 50 pounds or whatever, when really it was like 15.
It was 50 in the weight class.
Yeah, I was 75. I was 175, so I was giving up 6-7 pounds. So, going out there and proving them that, I could still win, coming from a lighter weight and having my brother, he probably weighed 172 going 70s. So I finally passed him up, but it wasn't too difficult for the jump. I mean, actually for me, it was fun, being able to eat the night before, whatever I wanted.
Yeah, holidays, actually being able to enjoy Thanksgiving,
Christmas. Yeah. So that was nice.
Now, as you got into college, you and Anthony are getting back-to-back weights, and there's the discussions based on his performance, and then on the other side where your performance was. Was there any talk about moving up prior to this year for both of you, or was it something that you guys fit in this spots and these teams with the red shirts and now the puzzle pieces of the lineup? I mean,
there was talks about it, especially that junior world team weight class was 185. So, but I weighed 178, 179, in the summers throughout the year. And then that first year and second year, I told Zeke, I don't care who wants to wrestle me off. I'm going 74s. That's my choice. I'm going to go what benefits me the most. I know it's team sport, and for the most part, I like moving up, seeing the team, seeing how it goes. But for those first 2 years, I have to do what's best for me. Mm-hmm. I want to go out there and win a national title. And, being at 174, that would give me the best chance, bigger, stronger, faster. So that's what we decided. He's like, okay, yeah, it's your Zeke was on board. He's like, yeah, it's up to you. We're going to get you to win a national title. Then after that, we talked about it my junior year, moving up. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll think about it. So I tried getting big the whole summer. I got up to like 84, 86 maybe. But then throughout the year, I was just.
Yeah, so how much weight do you typically drop in a practice? Because you're burning it off.
I mean, 6 6 to 7 pounds usually.
And you don't look like you have that much to lose just walking around.
No, it's just a bunch of water weight, So, and I have a really fast metabolism. So like at night, I'll float off like anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds, which is crazy.
People listening to that hate you now.
Yeah.
Because that's just
my whole team hates me just because I don't have to cut weight. But
so it used to be heavyweights could float that much. You're 25 pounders sitting going, you suck.
yeah. But this year, it changed because of the Olympic year. It didn't make sense for me to go back down to 74s when I'm trying to make an Olympic team at 189s. So even though I still weigh 83, 84, I'm a lot closer to that weight. I could get my strengths up more instead of being at 74s and kind of depleting that a little bit. But so that was mainly the point of me going up this year.
There's also the added pressure of that family dynamic with you and Anthony both coming out of high school with all these credentials, and then Anthony hasn't hit the podium yet.
Yeah.
How much does that weigh on you, knowing that there was expectations on your brother just like they were you, and he hasn't hit some of those expectations yet?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it sucks just seeing those kind of results because I know he could do it. I know he could have done it. There's just some stupid matches that he could have pursued differently, especially that first year at nationals. Losing in the blood rounds, but.
I mean, wrestling's hard.
Yeah, wrestling's hard. But and then seeing him with his surgery last year and he couldn't compete all last year, that sucked. It brought a little different dynamic to that year, just not seeing him wrestle, and then I'm warming up to come up after him during a duel. But this year's been a lot of fun. I think he has a good shot of, making it, being on top even. So I'm excited, even for me being at my last year, doing it together.
Go back in 2017, talk about the Junior World Team Champions, Junior Freestyle. I mean, came down to Gable. He beat the Russian team title by a point. You were part of that team, that trip to Finland. What was that experience like for you? And you had rep Team USA before, but that's a team title.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. It's one of the best experiences in my life. Just being able to represent your country with all those studs, going out there. Every single one of those guys did their jobs, Deacon, coming, wrestling in the finals, beating some tough dudes. McKee, Colin, Gable, and now looking back and then being able to wrestle in the finals after, not placing and then taking fifth my second year and then making it to the finals. And then now looking at the guy I lost to at Junior World Finals, which was a 6-5 match. He's like third in the world, that Artur Nifanov guy. So it shows that I've been right there the whole time, just little things and staying passionate, staying driven to my end goal, really, being an Olympic champ.
You're going to have more than one cycle in you, obviously, but we go into 2020. This one's going to be in State College. It's been at Iowa City the last 2 cycles, and there's a guy with a pretty good State College following at the weight class, and he's going to be coming back. And have you given much thought to the individuals that you're going to have to run through to make an Olympic team?
Yeah, this is actually the most thought I've actually given a tournament, meaning the depths in it, the people I'm going to wrestle. All right, I'm going to have to study him. I could come across this dude. So, I mean, it's pretty much starting from the first round. I'm going to have to be focused and wrestle every match like it's the finals, really. So, but, I'm excited because I'm in a good spot right now. I've wrestled pretty much all the guys, Daringer, even the guys in other countries, like that Turkish dude. But we haven't seen David yet, coming back from that injury. So
yeah, was the last time you wrestled him your freshman year at Midlands, or did you guys hit between then? Yeah,
I think it was Midlands, or it could have been. No, I think it was. I wrestled him in Spain.
Okay.
The Grand Prix. I think I lost like 10-3 or something to him there, but that was 4 years ago. So I'm a whole different wrestler now.
Having gone back and forth with Dieringer, like, does he present the most matchup problems for you? Obviously, with Date going down, he's out of the picture, but there's some bodies coming up. I mean, there's potential that, where's Jaden Cox going to go? I mean, there's some definite thought goes in there, but in terms of who you have the best chance of beating and who you are worried about the most, I mean, where do these guys stack up?
I mean, I don't really look at it that way. I feel like at any given day, this guy could beat that guy, and then vice versa. That's just how good each one of these guys are. Obviously, I'm going to stay as stingy as possible and try to take away any offense or anything on that anyone tries to do against me. Daringer, he's good with the underhook, so I'm going to stay away from that. It's just about figuring out their weakness and try to exploit it, try to cover it up with as much shots as I can. So, I mean, for me, it's just a chess game. I got to play it smart, go out there knowing what I'm wrestling for, what my dreams and my aspirations are. So that's what I'm going to do.
So have you given much thought beyond 2020? 2024 seems like it's obviously going to be a reality, but beyond that, I mean, you plan on wrestling in your early 30s, or I mean, it's
yeah. I'm gonna take it one cycle at a time. I mean,
28's in LA.
Yeah. See, that's another thought, but no, for sure this one, obviously, and for sure the next cycle, I'm gonna go another 4 years. But yeah, it just depends what could happen, and during those 4 years.
Life and adult things happen between college and
Yeah, I'll be probably 27 by the next cycle, so there's gonna be a lot of tougher choices to make there. Then this next cycle, I'm still in my youth, just out of college, so that's easy. Continue wrestling. This is what I do. This is who I am. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll cross that bridge a little closer when I get there.
You're kind of looking at that 24, 28 thing. Like, man, 24 in LA would have been so much better.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Being able to wrestle, hometown, not just the States, but LA, where I'm from. That would have been really cool.
So where are you from? I mean, your bio says Bellflower, but is that where you grew up?
That's where St. John Bosco is out of. I grew up in Pico Rivera, 25 minutes from Long Beach,
okay.
5-10 minutes from Whittier.
When you look at, you talk about the guys that came through Monster Garage, obviously Cade had the concussion issues that prevented him from wrestling. And then, Pico was, a match away from being on the Olympic team at 19 years old.
Yeah.
Do you wish Aaron would have given the college route a try?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it would have been awesome to have all of us stick together, especially because we were the original Monster Garage. We're like the ones that started it. Me, Anthony, Cade Olivas, Pico. But I respect and admire for what he's doing. That was his dream. That's what he's been wanting to do. He was a Golden Gloves champ as a kid. So I'm happy for him. Obviously the selfish part of me is like, come on, stay, come do this with us. Because Cade Olivas still goes to ASU. Unfortunately, he can't wrestle, but he's there and he's part of our group. He's out there in every duel. He comes to the wrestling room. So having Pico there would have been awesome. Bring that kind of.
So Cade be what, a freshman or sophomore now?
He's a sophomore.
Okay, yeah. Academically, you don't necessarily redshirt.
Yeah, no.
It's not like Anthony. You're like, what year are you? No.
Yeah.
But so how close do you guys? Are you and Pico still talking a whole lot, or is it just?
Yeah. We talk every now and then. I mean, I watch his fights. My dad went to the fights. He was there. So, I mean, we still stay in touch, and we're pretty close still.
Now, getting back to this college season, 184, the venue. You're probably not looking that far ahead when they announce it's going to be in Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium. But now that's going to be a reality, and you're hearing 40,000 tickets are being sold already. You're going to be wrestling in the biggest crowd that's ever seen an NCAA wrestling championship. Has that kind of entered your mind at all about how big this venue and being able to be part of that championships is going to be for the sport of wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I've thought about the amount of more people that it brings. I've talked to my coaches, Pendleton, Jamil, seeing how it's going to look, because it's such a big stadium. Is it going to look packed? Is it going to have that? I know it's going to have that same atmosphere, but the way it's set up, it's never been done in a football stadium like that. And the more we talked, it's actually cool to think that I would have wrestled in pretty much like every sport. Like I've been to wrestled in Cleveland, then I wrestled at Pittsburgh Penguins. So then basketball, hockey. I did the duels on the baseball field, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and now Viking Stadium. So it's cool to say that I've wrestled in every major sports
the big four
category. The big four, yeah.
What's been your favorite place to wrestle?
I don't know location wise, but Nationals has to be Nationals. I mean, Times Square was cool. Beat the Streets, that was awesome too. So I would say those two.
Got a lot of different opportunities to do that and travel the world.
Yeah.
When we look at this team, how is Zeke and the staff really preparing you guys for the stretch run? We're in February. We're a month away from conference tournaments. We're a little bit more than that away from the NCAA championships, the end of your collegiate career. As you even termed it, end of my folkstyle career, because this style of wrestling's gone forever.
Yeah.
You know, what's the mindset from the team, and how is Zeke and the staff really preparing you guys for this run to say, hey, you know, a trophy is a realistic opportunity, as is that big trophy, even though Iowa's pretty loaded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the training is too much different because we know what we've been needing to do, and we've been emphasizing that. We've been training towards that. Obviously, there's more talk now that we're getting close. We're getting closer to nationals. Our team's looking better. We're in that top 5 ranking. But I believe that all the coaches know what it takes. They've all been there, you know. And now that we have that core of guys, the seniors that are able to lead the team. They know we got Tanner, you know, All-American, Shields, All-American. You know, we got Josh Maruka, who's a senior. You know, my brother is a national qualifier. He's all been there. They know how to win. And being able to lead the rest of the team. And then guys stepping up like Cordell, you know, he's doing awesome this year. He just took down, you know, the number 5 guy in the country. So I think we're going to make a big run for it. I think right now what we have to emphasize on is the bonus points. You know, we're going to need as much of that as possible going to the national tournament.
Bonus points plus some help from, you know, that's one thing about the tournament. You don't have to beat every guy from the top team. You just have to have everybody else beat them too.
Yeah. And then I think one thing is finishing the tournament, you know, even the guys that take an early loss, finishing the backside, you know, because ASU, when they won it back in 88, they didn't have one champ. Not one single national champion, and they won the tournament. I think they were in 4th place going to the last day, and they got a bunch of thirds. They got a second, I think, but pretty much almost everyone placed, and they did their job on the backside. So I think that's what's going to be important.
We're sitting here in Little Rock, Arkansas, of all places, and this is kind of getting off the beaten path of what we've been talking about, but this is one of 2 brand new Division I programs this year. As far as starting from scratch, Presbyterian in South Carolina and now Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
What, in your opinion, what does a school like this adding wrestling mean for the wrestling landscape and the South as a whole? I mean, this is not an area you're familiar with, but what's it mean for wrestling in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that it's growing, that people are starting to get more involved with the sport. And I think everyone, you know, outside of it too, and then it's helping with social media and, you know, getting more exposure. And I think it starts with, you know, the guys that were before me, like even the Jordan Burroughs, who's, you know, a class act, respectful, everyone loves him. And that type of energy, that kind of type of atmosphere that he brings to the table, you know, more guys want to follow that, and then they show their friends and bring that. And then outside of wrestling, you know, people like you, the interviews, Flow Wrestling, you know, bringing that gives us more exposure, and being able to add a new program, new wrestling program to a new school like this. I think it's awesome, and I just hope it continues to grow. And we're a normal basketball channel on ESPN, you know, that'd be cool.
As we wrap up and look at your career, we, you know, kind of touched on maybe going beyond 2024, but once your wrestling career is over, have you given any thought to what you want to do with life? Is it coaching? Is it something that you're working on with your major that you've got career aspirations on?
Yeah. You know, I've given it some thought. You know, my major is business real estate. So whatever that brings me, the networking that I've been doing, but as of right now, I just have such a high focus on wrestling. That's my main priority. That's my career as of right now, and it's going to be for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, however many years. And getting closer to the end, I'll probably see what I could get out of my degree, what I want to do, what my passion would be by then, if it's coaching or getting into real estate or business or anything like that. I think that's just going to come later on.
Do you see yourself sticking around Tempe or move back to California?
That's another question, but for now, I love Tempe. I love Tempe. I love what it has to offer. So, as of the next cycle, I'm gonna stay out there at ASU.
The Short-Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Sportswear. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. Hey, you know what? Did you like the show? You want to hit that subscribe button? MatTalkOnline.com/listen. Various different ways to subscribe to this show on your favorite podcatcher of choice. And if you're already subscribed and you already listened and you love the show and you want to support this show and this network, MatTalkOnline.com/join the team. Become a team member today.